Let's just have a look at what we mean by rhythm or flow. So in the photograph of the model, what we've got here are a series of forms that give us the sensation of speed as we run our eye through the figure in a particular way. Obviously, the more you actually look at it, you can get different bits of information, like the kind of texture of the skin or the kind of intricacy of some of the details and things like that. But essentially, the first thing you see is this big movement or rhythm or flow. Now what I want to do is I want to identify that and somehow note that down in quite a crude way. So this movement is actually made up of 2 or 3 different things. There are some details that obviously force your eye. So for instance, the bit between the bottom and the legs, the gap between the legs and as it comes into the bum, and then as your eye moves up the backbone, that's obviously a critical point. But it's not just that, it's also the shape of the whole of this edge, or the way this contour goes all the way up, but essentially it's a big movement as it goes up there. It's the shine or the shadows, where the shadows are. It's basically a coming together of 2 or 3 different qualities or different sensations, and they make your eye move in a certain way. What I want to do is I want you to identify those big movements with a very simple, crude method. And what I've got here is I've got the polystyrene and I've got the diluted watercolour. And I'm going to start by thinking about a little bit, like we did before, about where my extremities are. By the way, there'll be lots of drips and kind of incidental things. So we're looking here at something I want it to be as big and as general as possible. So we've got this foot that starts. After you've got a couple of lines in that may kind of make you feel that this is a reasonably kind of authoritative movement, then it's time to slightly elaborate a little bit more on it. So let's just see where this goes. Okay, so I've got something of that kind of basic rhythm or flow that's running through this. So with these big sweeping lines that seem quite vague, quite general, but they do give a kind of sense of energy that does pulsate and run through the figure. Now what I want to do is just develop this a little bit, and although the surface of the drawing is still quite wet, I just want to get on and see if I can add some charcoal marks that might help to organize this a little bit better. Now, as the drawing starts to develop and I feel a bit more confident about where things are and what kind of forces are being transmitted by the marks that I've made, I might well want to reassert some of the highlights or some of the lighter areas. This is where the white pastel becomes really necessary. We need to obliterate some of the ink areas and re-establish those light areas.